All right, everyone, rock and roll. It is 8:26 a.m. Eastern, so we've got about 3.5 minutes until the core PCE comes out at 8:30 a.m. The Fed's favorite inflation number, so it's going to be a big one. It's going to move the market. If you didn't check into our pre-market forecast, you should definitely do that. Looking to trade the Emini SP 500 from the long side today, and went over why in that video. So right now, as we get ready for the release, we know we're looking to go long. We know we're trading the Emini SP 500. You can see I've got the Quant Tower DOM open there to the right. And on the three challenge accounts we're working on currently, had a good trade on the Russell yesterday. And account number 1 is at 52,122. Account number 2 is at 51,904. And account number 3 is at 51,561, I believe, if I'm reading that right. So about 2/3 of the way there on the first two accounts and halfway there on the third account. And we're just going to continue to take our setups and have a little fun, trade these challenges as we get back into the swing of things before heading back to the live account. All right, so it is 8:28 a.m. Eastern now, and we've got about a minute and 30 seconds until the news release. You can see that the higher time period volume chart here for ES is already pushing higher, and that was to be expected out of all that daily and weekly support we outlined in the pre-market forecast. So what we're looking for now is some sort of a pullback. We're not going to chase. Remember, we've got our 4 principles of trading written down. Prepare, which we've already done. Don't chase, which sometimes can be difficult, but we try not to do. Hit it hard and then let it run. That's how I like to do it. All right, so when we look at the monthly, weekly, daily here, let's see, we got about a minute to go. What I would love to see, and I don't know if I'm going to get lucky enough for that, is a smash back down into the low of the day at 45.55. I don't think that's going to happen, but if we do get that, it'll be a gift from the trading gods and we will go long. If it just runs away without us, that'll be unfortunate. We won't be able to get in because we do need some sort of a pullback. So let's see what the big news release gives us, and we'll take it from there. We've got about 25 seconds until the release. So I'm going to focus, get some water. All right, 5 seconds. And we're off. 1 second. Boom. There's the release. Okay, now you can see it's starting to move a little bit. Now I would love a slam back down into support. It would just be awesome. Because right now the higher time period is trending up. And although it certainly can just keep going and probably will like it is right now, it's just tough to chase because you don't really know where to put your stop, right? So I'm guessing that this number came out pretty favorably in terms of inflation. Sorry, I'm watching the markets because a lot of the recent inflation data has come out, positively, meaning inflation appears to be coming down. And if that's the case for this number, I haven't looked at the number yet. I'll look at it soon. That would, be continued juice for this market to head higher because that would mean the Fed is probably done raising rates and will not only not raise anymore, but probably start to decrease rates. I think the dot plot is at May now. May 2024 is the expected first rate cut. So that is why stocks are rallying. All right. But right now, nothing crazy. It looks like Quant Tower froze, which is rare. It doesn't freeze very often. So now it's moving again. TradeStation is usually the one that freezes, but this time TradeStation didn't freeze and Quant Tower did. All right, so we're just sitting here patiently waiting, looking to execute our plan. Yesterday, you recall on the Russell 2000, the plan was to wait for a pullback in the trend up and go long. We did that. Did well, made about $720 across each one of these accounts for about $2,200 in total. So that was a nice trade. Planned it out, followed the trading plan, and worked out very well. And even though the Russell reversed by the end of the day, we had already gotten in there, made our money, and we were off and doing other things. We got out of Dodge. Get out of the casino. Get your money. Get out. Really important. Don't sit and push it. You learn these things as you mature as a trader. Not necessarily as a person. I'm not there yet, but as a trader. All right. So in a moment, I will bring up Zero Hedge, and we will see what the news actually was. Give me a second here. All right, let's see if Zero Hedge has any information on the CPE. Not yet. Let's go ahead and look at another news outlet here. The CPE came in at 3.5, right on target. So that was the forecast, and that was what came in, 3.5%. So that's why you're seeing the market here not do a whole lot. So we'll see. We're looking to go long still. It's not dependent on the CPE, the PCE number. It's more dependent on the charts that we're reading here. So let's wait and see if we get a pullback, because it was a pretty benign number, meaning nothing, earth-shattering one direction or the other. The market will probably be pretty quiet now until the open in an hour. So I will likely pause this video and then restart the recording when the market opens in an hour, because we're not going to sit here and waste each other's time. But at least we got to watch the news release together. Well, we might sit here and watch. It's starting to move a little bit, which is nice, because if we could get this higher time period to punch back down into these lows, that would be fantastic. That's where we want to try and get long. But I'm not really expecting that much more juice until the market opens. Kind of like yesterday with the Russell. We had the news come out at 8:30. That was the GDP, I believe. I lose track from one day to the next. And we entered our first position, I think about a half hour after the news, because it just didn't move that much after the news. And then we held that first position for about a half hour until the open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And then when I could see that I liked the way it was looking at open, that's when I added that second contract, and it just rifled to the upside. So we had a good trade there, but we had to wait about a half hour from our original entry until we added our second position at the open. And then once it opened, we took profit, I think, in a matter of about a minute or so. It just rifled straight up. So that was a nice trade. Doesn't always work out like that, but it did yesterday. And so right now I'm thinking that there's not going to be any major movement until the open. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and pause, and we'll be back right at the open in about an hour. Thankfully, for those of you watching this on YouTube later, the open will just appear right in front of you, because I'm pausing now, and I'll restart at the open for you. All right. Hope everybody's having a good day. All right, everyone, we're back. It is 9:21 a.m., so about 9 minutes until the open. I've been away, had a nice homemade burger on sourdough bread, some homemade potatoes and sweet potatoes from the oven. It was delicious. Got a nice full tummy now, ready to go. Let's go ahead and see what we've got shaking. We've got a little bit of a pullback here, but not enough for my taste right now, even though we are looking to go long today per the pre-market forecast. Let's go ahead quickly. I want to see what the dollar and everything else is doing. That PCE number that came out that we talked about earlier, even though that was in line with expectations, it's still off that 3.7% sticky level that the Fed wanted to see it come down from. So I'd say it's pretty pretty bullish for the market here with the setup we've got on the charts, plus that news release, plus all the other inflation data we're seeing from around the world. There's a lot now. I think that this market is going to squeeze higher today. So I feel good about our forecast just from a technical standpoint, but also the fundamentals do continue to support. That support should be strong. That support should be strong. There is a tongue twister. All right, let's go ahead and just quickly, before the open, I am going to expand these charts one sec. All right, so this is the daily pattern we're looking for here on the ES. That's the one we've been talking about, right? And the question is, are we gonna get a gift from the trading gods and be able to get long closer to 45.60, which is where yesterday closed, and we opened today? That would be awesome. I would really love a spike, taking out maybe some stops below yesterday's low, which is coming in right around 45.55. To be able to get long down there would be absolutely awesome. I'm not counting on it, but it would be the most ideal situation. If it just kind of stays where it's at right now and starts to push higher, then we'll look to jump on board the trend, because the trend is up and the trend is our friend. All right, let's quickly look. We can see the NASDAQ is up just about 0.25%. The Dow's up 0.5%. Russell's up 0.5%. ES is up 0.2. So probably ES and NQ will catch up to the Dow and the Russell. The bonds are down a little bit, as we covered in the pre-market forecast. Gold is down a little bit. Silver's up, kind of a mixed bag. Crude's up 1%, but remember, we got that Saudi output news coming out later that could, either smash crude or push it higher. You never know what they're going to do. The commodities, corn, wheat, soybean, they're mixed right now. The dollar is still pretty strong against the euro. If we click here, you can see the dollar's kind of hanging in there, but we might get, if this stocks are holding up pretty well, even though the dollar has gotten quite a bit stronger overnight. And we do have, quite a bit of support here on the euro futures at about 1.0920. So we'll see if the dollar just, continues to strengthen throughout the rest of the day. But there's a lot of support here. So I could see strength in the dollar kind of easing off. I could see the overnight gains so far in treasuries. If we look at the 10-year, that could start to suck up out of that support pocket. So this balancing out of the dollar, the strong dollar and the strong treasuries overnight, that could kind of ease as we head here into the open and put a floor underneath us for stocks. And that, combined with the PCE news that just came out and all the other news we've been talking about, I do think we've got a pretty good catalyst to continue to play the long side. So that is what we will do. Let's go ahead and shift back over to the intraday ES charts. You can see here I've got my volume-based charts. This is the higher time period volume-based chart here to the left. And we've got the entry time period here, which today I've got divisible by 4. I think 4 is good for right now. So I'm just waiting. Right now you can see the higher time period, it's kind of trending up a little bit. What I would love is if this could at least fall out of bed down here to, even just below that low. We may not get that low right there, 45.58. If we get to 45.56 down there, I'm probably just going to have to go long, even without waiting for confirmation. So let's see what happens at the open. We've got about 5 minutes to go until the open. And if we just kind of hang out in here, we'll have to wait for the right setup and then look for our long. The important thing is we're looking at it from one side of the market right now. Does that mean we're always right? Of course not. Sometimes I come into the day with a long bias, and if I start to see support breaking, then hopefully I haven't taken my first long trade, and then that just tells me, hey, the bias to the long side is not valid, so don't take the trade anymore, right? But as long as support is holding my key levels using Owings market analysis, if my bias is to the long side, I see support holding, I see the intraday price action confirming that, then that's when I want to look to get long. It doesn't mean you get AAA setups every day, obviously not. I got to check the rollover here. Give me a second here to check the contracts. Yeah, it looks like we've still got most of our volume being traded in the December contract for the indices. But it was just weird because the DOM here on Quant Tower just looks strange. Let me go ahead and just close this DOM real quick. Hang on, reset it. All right, it looks like it was just some issue with the DOM for the ES, but we've got the DOM open. Reminder, we're on our challenge accounts here. We've got 3 of them. See what we can do today just by trading as smart as we possibly can. And we have about a minute and a half until the open here. And we've got our game plan. We're ready to go. Tried not to eat too much. I don't feel like I'm really in the food coma, which is good. I ate a small burger and just a small portion of potatoes and sweet potatoes from the oven. So you don't want to come into the day. You want to try and come in with a balanced blood sugar. It's, often overlooked, but really important. I haven't been in the gym yet today. I'm going to go after the session, but I did go yesterday. Had a good workout, a good sauna, ice shower, 3.2 mile run. So, good to try and stay in shape. Got to keep the body and the mind healthy for this. You got to be as focused as you can be every single day. All right, the market's going to open here in just a moment. It is 9:29 and 53 seconds. So here we go. Get ready. You'll hear the bell. Plug your ears. There it is. So remember, if we could just get a little bit of a smash down into support, would be awesome. 45.60, somewhere down here. We're going to wait for this higher time period to close. But this is where we're kind of hoping it gets down to here. Just quietly focusing here. This might be the support. Just waiting for this higher time period close here. And that will close at 70,000 contracts. Right now we're at 67,000 contracts. Things can move fast. $69. All right, we're long. You can see there on the screen. Be nice if we could get a push back up toward the highs of the day. Quant Tower is frozen again. Not sure why it's doing that, but we are getting a nice push. So it seems like we're having trouble with the DOM, but let's go ahead and close this again. So we're having issues with the Quant Tower DOM. Give me a second. All right, so you can see we're long. Not impressed with Quant Tower so far today. Having some issues. But we're long on our 3 accounts, and now we just got to pray for a little bit of surf and see if we can catch a runner. Just watching, observing. $9:33 a.m. Kind of at a critical level here. Need to see how price reacts. Critical short-term level. See if this support level can hold and spark a rally. If this support starts to break down, we'll probably have to bail and look to re-enter lower. I'll wait for this bar to close. Nice if we get a suck up into close there. Not looking like it's going to happen at this exact moment. All right. We took a small loss there. I'm okay with that. We had a good temporary higher time period support level there, and it just didn't want to hold. It may end up going higher now, but the fact that we broke that low right there at 45.62, I'm good just taking a little bit of a loss. That was $175 on each account, so that's fine. And now just waiting to see if it wants to find support down in here. I'm pretty sure there will be some good support down here, just a matter of where. Could have caught a runner yesterday right off the open, like we sometimes do. I mean, this may be the low. We'll see. You never really quite know what they're going to do. But since they took out that low right there, I'm okay. If we need to re-enter, we'll re-enter. But I'm going to wait for confirmation. Because once we get going, assuming support does kick in here somewhere, I think we could have a pretty quick trip back to those highs. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, the reason I went long there, and I still like this overall support level, so we're going to see how price reacts to it. But we still have some good support in here at 45.63. That's what got broken. So if we're going to head lower, this is the level to watch right now as resistance, 45.63. This is the key, keep your winners bigger than your losers, and you'll be in good shape, and don't overtrade. So right there, we started with a loss, but it was a good trade. The loss was small, manageable. That's all you can do. You never know which ones are going to work. You just have to use the technical analysis you've got at your disposal and take your shots accordingly. So here's the Quant Tower DOM freezing again. So major problems with Quant Tower today. I don't know if anybody else is having problems, but my Quant Tower keeps freezing, which could prove to be a pretty big problem. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, now it's moving again. So yeah, Quant Tower not in a good situation today. Not really sure why it's doing that. So it'd be great. I mean, if we can get back down near these lows and set up a long down there somewhere, that would be fantastic. Here we go. This is going to close here shortly. Question is, are we going to go for those lows here from yesterday? Maybe. Certainly we could. Or it's just going to, head lower for the day. We'll see, but I'm not giving up on it yet. I'm going to watch these lows and see what happens there. The Dow is holding on to its gains. Doesn't mean it can't reverse, but we'll have to see. That could be, we'll see if we start to find some support down here. We'll wait. I think the S&P might want to catch back up to the Dow. But I need to wait for a little bit of confirmation because the lower time period is in a pretty good trend to the downside right now. So this is what's weird. You see how there's something going on with their DOM today. I'm not really sure what it is. Something's going on with Quant Tower. I got to pause this. This is really weird with Quant Tower. I don't know. You see something's going on. I guess the spread is there, but this is just something's not good with it. We might be putting in the low here. So we might have to go long. Just going to wait for a little bit of confirmation here. Just going to keep a close eye on the support level, 45.55. That was the level we want to watch right there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. The Dow is still up 0.5%. Pretty good reversal so far. What was I saying before the yeah, you see this is, I don't know what, if you guys have seen this on Quant Tower before, let me know. Not impressed. Really strange. Anyways, we'll attempt to deal with it. So what I was saying was that, you know, let's do centering here. There's auto centering. That doesn't even look like it's centering, right? We're doing auto centering. It's not really centering anything. I don't know what this is doing. It's really strange. What I was saying was that, you see, we took our shot at our long there, right? Which was at 45, 65 right there. And, we were up a little bit to begin with, but I was, kind of thinking, well, we could get back up to these highs. That'd be a nice winner, right? But as soon as we start to see that break down, just cut the loss, right? That's what you've got to do. And that's what just, now that support is breaking down, I'm not going to rush to get back in. I want to see these lows down here hold. And if not, then, it doesn't look like the bullish picture is going to hold for the day. But I'm still, could be a lot of support down here. The Dow is still up. The Dow is holding its gains. The Russell's still in positive territory. So I think this could just be a shakedown below those lows. But you see, we haven't even entered congestion up on the lower time period. But as soon as we do, I'm probably going to have to take a long. Thing is, we don't really have a viable higher time period pattern right now. So I'm going to have to wait until this higher time period bar here closes. It's always better to wait. I'm very tempted to jump in right here, believe me. But I've got to exercise a bit of caution. If you guys have had experience with the Quant Tower DOM acting like this, please write it in the comment section. Let me know what the hell's going on. Very strange. You see, this is just, all the numbers are all off. This is really, really unsettling with Quant Tower. I gotta pause it. All right, we're back. Refresh that DOM, but it just gets really strange. The Dow is still holding on to its gains. Gonna be interesting. We're kind of in the, this is the make or break zone down here. The dollar is gaining strength. I see that's why this is breaking down. The dollar's broken through that key level on the euro. Crude still catching a bid. Treasuries are down. Yeah, so this is looking pretty heavy at the moment. So, but things can change. It's not going to force anything. Say, well, Andy, why don't you go short now? No. I'm still, even though the long side's not looking good anymore, I'm still, keeping an eye. This could cause a little bit of a bounce here, just below those lows. But I'm not going to. I don't want to mess with this right now. You can see we're just trending down. I do think there's a little bit of an exhaust pattern there for a move back to 45.65. But we haven't really, so far, unless we get back above yesterday's lows and start holding there and pushing higher, I'm not interested. So let's see how price reacts in here. Because right now, let's go ahead and look. You can see this is the problem right here. So the dollar is getting a lot stronger against the euro. We're breaking through that key support level, at least temporarily, right? Dow still hanging on to the gains, but treasuries are also, if we look at the 10-year even, it's down, 10 years trying to break through that support, right? Gold is down a little bit. So it's looking like something's going on that is impacting the stock market here. That doesn't mean we won't reverse and head higher. We might. You've seen what's happened the last few days. We've had these big, right? We had these, it's been really wacky and wild. So it doesn't mean we can't go higher. It just means that we're not going to try and get long right here. So now we just watch and have some patience. But I'm happy with that. It's a really good illustration so far of, taking our shot, taking a small loss, and then just watching and waiting. And that's how, when you can use the intraday charts, in a disciplined manner like this, it really does give you a good advantage in terms of minimizing your losses and maximizing your gains. And that might be the only trade we take for the day. In that case, you say, okay, the bullish forecast didn't pan out, but we only took a very small loss, and then you're on to the next day. If you can, win a lot more than you lose on your winning days versus your losing days, then you'll be in a good position overall. All right, so you can see Quant Tower is freezing again there. Beautiful situation. I'm going to go get my phone. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so you see how Quant Tower here says 40. It's up here, but this has gotten stuck down here. So that's also a problem for today. Be curious if anybody else is having Quant Tower issues. Got to close it down again. I'm not impressed with Quant Tower. I was impressed, but now I'm not. Hang on. All right. 1 second. So you can see we are getting that move up out of support now. So if we can snake back inside these lows, we may end up, this may be it. The Dow is putting on gains, so I think this is it. Gonna look to get long down here. Anywhere into this 45.55 level. If the Quant Tower DOM can hold it together for a few minutes. Probably some trap shorts, I think, here. Coming upon 10 a.m. Eastern. It's 9:52. Sorry, guys. I'm doing my best with the DOM. It's very unsettling here. I don't know why it's doing that. Because, you know, sometimes I like to use a limit order. But in this case, with the DOM being unreliable, I don't even know where the limit's being put. So just kind of looking anywhere down here at around 45.57. Trying to get a trend reversal going here on the lower time period. I'm still waiting for a little bit of a pullback. Hopefully we'll meet some short-term sellers here that still think we're going lower for the day. And hopefully they can drive it down so we can get long. Maybe not. Just being patient. I think had I had a reliable DOM, I might have been able to get in already down here at 45.57 as that was pushing higher, but I was busy messing around with Quant Tower. Go ahead and check the... Yeah, the Dow's up almost 1% now. I think we're going higher. I think the forecast may turn out to be correct. We'll see. Right now you've got a lot of support at 45.60. Just got to make sure we don't have any news coming out here. 1 second. Yeah, we do have pending home sales, so you know that can move things around a little bit. Grab a drink of water. Just waiting for this to close. Home sales are out in 4 minutes. Looks like the squeeze back to the top side is on. Still waiting for, it's a nice big congestion entrance bar there. So if we can get a pullback anywhere down into this 45.60 to 45.55 area down in here on the lower time period, this is where I'm waiting to try and initiate a long. Dollar's recovering. Sorry, the euro's recovering a little bit against the dollar. And the Dow is still up 0.8%. And we've got new home sales out in about 3 minutes. Oh. Just a bit of stretching. I've got my standing desk coming in this weekend, which is going to be fantastic. I hate sitting in a chair. So yeah, I think no woulda, coulda, shoulda. You get technological difficulties sometimes, but I think it's safe to say, without the quant tower issues, would have been long from 57. Taking a little bit of this already. But that's the way it goes sometimes. I think especially when you're dealing with these prop firms, this is what I'm curious. I'm glad to do this testing. I can imagine those of you who have actually passed, have done these a lot, if you've passed and gotten to the quote unquote funded stage, let me know if you've had, DOM issues, because I can imagine, not casting any aspersions here, I'm not making any claims, I don't know, but it wouldn't be that difficult for them to, cause problems for people on the technology side, in addition to widening the spread and things like that. But just in terms of the DOM having issues when you're on a funded account, I'd be curious to hear if that happens. I'm not saying it does, I'm just wondering. Wherever there's a lot of money at stake, unfortunately, the ethics kind of get left behind. And I'm hoping that's not the case. We saw that it was with my Forex funds. Of course, that was on the Forex side. I think the future side is a little bit more regulated with those prop firms, but you still never know. I mean, hopefully they're just not being greedy, right? Hopefully those prop firms are making enough money. They're happy. So for those that actually do pass and get funded and start making money, hopefully the prop firms are happy for them and don't play games. That might be the case. All right. Let's look at, I think we're going to push higher here. I'm just going to see how it pans out, because it could be that we're going to stay in congestion down here, meaning that we may go back down here to support before then we want to go higher. I'm not really sure. We're going to have to wait and see. So 10 a.m. has come and gone. So there's the home sales. Got a nice crossover in here. You got some support down here. So I just want to wait. There's not really like a long pattern right there yet. So this will be interesting to see. That could be the pullback right there, but I'm not going to. Well, there's the home sales at least. That's why this market's moving. We're just going to wait. This is why we have the lower time period to confirm. You see that broke the extension. So right there, it's telling us, hey, this part of the zone may not be strong yet. I can't stress enough how important it is just to have patience. And, it's very difficult in the moment, but just to try to, let the market come to you. Much easier said than done. So right now, I'm just waiting to see if the higher time period volume is going to be in congestion here, and we get a close down here around 45.55. Let's see, yesterday's lows are right in there, 45.55. So that's a key level, 45.55 with yesterday's lows. If we do go down there and stabilize, we're putting in a higher low, that could be the time to get long for a push back up to 65 maybe. or higher, depending. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right, so now we're kind of coming into that interesting support level. I'm going to wait. One of the key things just you got to remember, by waiting, if the market, goes somewhere without you, it's not really going anywhere without you. It's just moving, right? So don't attach your perspective to what's going on. Again, a lot easier said than done. So I'd love to see just push a little bit lower to kind of change this live trend line we've got sitting out here. If we go lower, it'll bring that yellow dot down. It'll just kind of make this support level a little stronger rather than pushing against us as resistance. As I said, I woke up with a little bit of a sore throat this morning, but it's not too bad. I think it's getting better overall. At least our DOM seems to be working. Let's celebrate that. Hallelujah, Quant Tower. It's another reason I can't wait to get my standing desk. It's so much better for the back, the neck. It's going to be sweet. All right, so we're watching, we're waiting. Let's go ahead and check in on, dollars, euros stabilizing, the Dow's stabilizing. I think support. I mean, we'll see, but I think support should be strong down here. Right now, we're basically leaning into yesterday's lows. So let's see, right there. See, I'm not going in yet because the higher time period hasn't closed. And the lower time period at this moment is still, it's trying to trend reverse down, right? So I want to wait for some signs on the lower time period. Like, it'll tell me, hey, there's possibly support here. It's not doing that yet. But see, there you go. So I think the euro is stabilizing now. That should be stock market positive. Let's see what the 10-year. Yeah, the 10-year might stabilize in here. We'll see. And remember, you don't want to be like married to your position, right? Okay, that could be the low. That's kind of sucking up right there. I'm long. I'll explain why in a moment. Just got to focus here. See if we can get a nice rally. It's starting off okay. Just trying to concentrate here. I really want to see this close at or above 45.57 or I'm going to dump it. Come on, baby. Get on your horse and ride. Very slow price action here. All right, we're going to hold it for now. Doesn't mean we won't bail. It just means we're holding for now. That's kind of the important level right there where we got in. Well, that's the support we want to see if it can get on its horse and go now. I want to check on the Dow and the dollar, but I don't want to switch to the other screen. Just concentrating, guys and gals. Quick check here. Dow's up 0.7. Dollar's kind of hanging in there. Yeah, we're kind of just hanging there. I just took a basic break even right there. I'm just going to see. I think it may want to push down to that support there. But gosh, the lag. Yeah, so that was good to get out of break even. Now let's see what happens down here. I'm curious to see. So we're flat. This is the support level I'm curious about. Just waiting. I won't hesitate to re-enter if it confirms, but just going to have to wait and see. It's a battle here. All right. Pretty lousy fill there. I look forward to watching that back on the tape later. We're long. Be nice if we could just push higher now. All right, so I took 200 there, back to break even. And I do think we are going to push higher here. But since the day is not exactly completely panning out as I expected, I'm happy to be at break even right now. I think we're managing our positions well. Go over everything at the end. It's basically the dollar. It's kind of hanging out there. It's not really the super bullish day yet that I anticipated. It still could be, but the tea leaves are not aligned at this exact moment, so I'm very happy to be break even. And just continue to wait, watch this together, have a little bit of fun. Are we having fun? I think we're having fun. It's like Gladiator. Are you not entertained? It's a great movie. So positions are flat. We're dead even on the day. We've basically just covered our commissions. We might be down like $2. This may very well push higher from here right now, but it's not one of those days where I'm in the mood to mess with it, because this is not what I had anticipated, which is good, right? Because this is teaching you guys how you trade a day that doesn't necessarily start out the way you think it should. So now we may be off to the races. We don't know, but I'm not taking any chances. If we could get a pullback down into this pocket at 45.58, I would consider relonging there. Just not going to hold. Now it's just kind of about, trying to take little chunks out from the long side. If yesterday's low at 45.55 continues to hold and we can make a little, that'd be great. If we have to just finish where we're at now, that's also 100% okay. Got the agua. It's true. I drank the yerba mate, and I'm a little more shaky from the yerba mate than I am from coffee. I think the yerba mate, I like it a lot, but it might be something to avoid while trading. Be curious if any of you have had similar experiences with yerba mate, because my wife and my best friend, he also gets a little bit of an anxiety feeling from yerba mate. I don't get anxiety per se, but when I'm trading and I can feel your nerves are there, the yerba mate makes me a little more shaky, which is not you want to try and neutralize as many of those types of things as you can. You want to take care of yourself, exercise, eat right. You don't want to get all jacked up on caffeine before you trade. Certainly don't want to get jacked up on other things. You want to be balanced if you can be. So now we're starting to see a little bit of that juice that I was looking for. Yeah, I think. See, the dollar, that's what's kind of, I don't want to say it's throwing me off, but the reason I'm not, jumping in for joy that we're headed back to say 45.80 or higher, we still might be. But the reason I'm not jumping for joy is because so far bonds are still under a bit of pressure. The dollar is still pretty strong at this exact moment. We haven't seen that lift on bonds and the euro that I'd like to see. But sometimes stocks just operate in a world of their own, and today might be one of those days. If this just flies higher here without me, I'm 100% okay with that. It's not about what you could have done, what you should have. It's about trading the market when everything lines up and you come in prepared and the market is unfolding according to your plan. Like yesterday with the Russell, it just was perfectly according to plan. Nice trade, quick 720 bucks across each account and just done, right? That's how you want it. You don't want to sit here and if you have to overthink things in terms of where you think it's going, then it's a good time to, not trade. So this was a little trickier than anticipated today. And that's the joy of trading, It's different every day. All right, so we're going to get a higher time period close here coming up. Just kind of stretching, relaxing. If we pull back to 45.60, I might have to entertain that for a push up to 70, maybe. We'll see. I just love to see this number here, 0.62 minus on the Euro futures. I'd like that to back off more. Dow's holding its gains. You see 0.48 minus on the 10-year Treasury TY here. I'd like that to back off as well. So if I would be much more eager to jump in from the long side if, Treasuries started to push higher and the Euro pushed higher with Treasuries. Crude's putting up a nice number right now, 1.9%. This could be a pretty good little pullback here into support. 45.60. Might have to take a little shot there. We really might. Time is at 10:19. This might be a decent spot to take a long. We'll see. I'm going to wait for the close of this lower time period. But it's really nice having always market analysis. It's just like a beautiful roadmap. You always know where you stand. You got to work hard to really make super piss poor decisions when you've got such a good set of technical indicators. It's, so I'm not going to go long there. Nope. If anything, I think we're probably cycling back down to support. I'm still going to hang out a little bit. There's probably going to be some resistance up in here. But I'll hang out a little bit just to see if we get another challenge of support down in here. And if it continues to hold. Really the key for me for today is I want to see that low from yesterday here at 45.55-ish continue to hold like we're seeing. But I don't think we're going to see an explosive rally up off those lows if and until the euro can get a little stronger against the dollar, the pound can get a little stronger against the dollar, and treasuries can recoup a little bit of their overnight losses. That's the only way I see this market pushing back up and closing, higher. It may just be a chop fest for the rest of the day. I think it looks to me like, based on the price action we've seen so far, it looks like it's setting up to be a chop fest the rest of the day. And that's also one big advantage by using these tools. I can see, generally speaking, you can see when you don't want to be involved and then just walk away. Right now we're at break even, no harm, no foul. That's fine. You want to save your bullets. You want to keep your powder dry for those trades where everything's just working and it's easy. When it's easy, you're trading, you're taking the right trades. If it starts to get hard and you start to feel stressed and you're overthinking, then you should just close the computer and go away, because it's not easy. And if it's not easy, then you're not probably taking the right setup. So that's really important. So with that, I'm probably going to call it a day. I think it's been a great day. It's about 10:30 now. Even if this thing, decides to rally, into the end of the day, and, I'm not here to take advantage of it, I'm fine with that, because what I'm seeing right now with the dollar strength and treasuries, not lending itself to a recovery rally. I may watch it a little longer. I can see The 10-year is trying. It was at minus 0.49 before. It's at minus 0.44 right now. So if the 10-year could be down minus 0.3, minus 0.35, and the euro could be down from minus 0.69, maybe down to minus 0.5, 0.5%, that would sort of tell me that dollar strength, treasury weakness trade that's weighing on stocks right now, that would give me confidence that would allow stocks to push higher. Certainly the Dow and the Russell are up almost 1% now, so that could be telling us something. We'll hang out a little bit because the treasuries changed right as we were getting ready to maybe sign off. Over the years, you just kind of learn little tips and tricks for each market. When you're trading the equities, it doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously they vary a little bit. If you're trading ES or NQ versus the Russell or the Dow, you know, they do vary a little bit. But generally speaking, they've got similar characteristics. And you can watch the VIX, you can watch bonds, you can watch the dollar strength, gold, silver, crude, and get a little bit of a sense of how they're impacting equities. And if you're trading treasuries, you know, especially I like to trade the ultra bond, as you know, when I'm trading treasuries, then you can keep an eye, especially on the 10-year, for clues as to what's going on. And of course, you reverse it. You know, you look at the dollar, you look at equities, you see what they're doing. That gives you a little bit of, you know, a mirror clue on the treasury. So you can use these markets. You can use them to read each other depending on how the overall basket is performing. So I think we're cycling now. It looks to me like we're cycling in congestion here on the higher time period, which means, you know, could be headed back down here to that 45, 55 level. And that's what I'm going to wait for. I'm going to see if, you know, because you never know, these equities sometimes they'll just take off, you know, at all times of the day. You never know. But if we were to push back down here, get a nice support pattern in congestion, and then I saw the dollar really backing off and I saw bonds recovering some of their overnight losses, maybe saw gold catching a bid, crude's up nicely as it is right now, then I would really, you know, consider a long off of 45, 55 for at least a retest of those highs at 45, 65, if not, you know, a breakthrough to highs of the day. We could still get that. And I think it's prudent to wait and see, you know, because if you play it right and you're just patient and you wait, you get long at 45, 55, you know, if you catch a nice little quick runner, make, say, 15 points, that's $750. That's not bad per account, right? It's only a challenge, but you get 3 accounts, $700 each, it's $2,100. That's a good day. That's basically the day we had yesterday. So I'm going to pause it. You guys know exactly how I'm thinking right now. So I'm going to wait for this higher time period close, and then we'll resume the live trading recording and see what we got shaking. I mean, one thing that's really interesting to point out right now is this divergence. Look at the NASDAQ daily chart here, right at support. Our S&P is kind of hanging out down here, but look at the Dow, right? I mean, I don't think that the NASDAQ and the S&P are going to be hanging around their lows for too long if the Dow stays up here. All we need is for the dollar to pull off a little bit. Right now, it's not doing that. It's actually getting stronger. It's up 0.75% against the euro at the moment. So there you can see. Yeah, so it's kind of the dollar right now that's that's against the euro. I mean, if we look at the dollar index, let's go ahead and bring that up. I guess that's sort of a better tell. This is delayed because this is the ICE. You know, they want like the ICE charges ridiculous fees for their data. Yeah, if the high of the day is in, if for the dollar, which I don't know if it is, but if it is, you know, that would help treasuries a lot. Sorry, that would help stocks a lot. Treasury would also back off if possible. but we'll see. So you can see here's the S&P 500 cycling back down. So we're just waiting for a close here of this higher time period. So I'm going to pause until it closes, and then we will see where we're at. We're doing it. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the process. I hope you guys are too. All right, guys, we're coming up on a close here of the higher time period bar. We're not down into support yet, but there is a lot of support down here nonetheless. So we're going to see if this could potentially punch down to these lows heading into the close. We might be interested. I'm more interested in down here around 45.56. It may just go straight up from here, but I can't take action here in the middle of this range. Not smart. But what we can see is that the Dow is extending its gains. It's up 0.82% almost, 0.81 now. And the Treasuries, the 10-year is back down to 0.41. So that's definitely helping. The dollar's still up 0.67 against the euro. So, well, we just had a pretty big sell-off. What time is it? Something just happened. The Dow dropped a little bit. S&P's dropping a little bit, as you can see. But we're going to hang out, let the market come to us, see if it can give us a setup. Should be a lot of support here for the euro against the dollar, especially considering we're at that weekly near low there. See, because all it would take is for this to suck back up here somewhere. And then for Treasuries, here's the 10-year, to suck back up here. Then you could easily see, especially with the Dow holding on to its gains, you could see this push back up here. So you never know. But you don't force your will on the market. And I think today's been a good example of that. I really do. You know, lost 175 there. Give it a shot. Because at this point, you see, trading is always easy in hindsight, right? Well, right here, we were trending up. Nice little pullback. At this point, we didn't know, what was going to happen for the day. We had our bias was long. We took a little shot. But as soon as we saw that support breaking down, boom, just bailed. Didn't even think twice about it. Only lost 3 points right there, which was awesome. So, and then we just waited, didn't get caught in any of this stuff here. And then finally, when we had, well, there's a little, that could be an exhaust right there for sure. I'm not going to take that because we're not really, we don't have a closed pattern here and we could be headed lower. But let's see what happens. Interesting, we're firing straight down and through those lows. At least we're not long, right? But back to my point. And then once we had a shot down in here, we saw support holding. We were patient. We waited. Boom, got in. I could see there was, we were up a couple $100, and it was, I could see, I don't think it's going to be this trend up day. So boom, just take that 200, cancels out our first loss. And then that's how we've got an even day, break-even day, when the forecast, does something totally opposite to what we expected, right? So that's fantastic. That's why when you start putting the 2 and 2 together, that's what trading is really all about. Being prepared, having your plan, and then executing your plan. And then also, if your forecast or your thesis is not unfolding the way you thought it was going to, don't force your will on the market. So important. So let's see if that was a stop hunt there. We're going to know shortly. Cracking the neck, baby. All right. So just checking. The Dow's still up 0.75. 10 years back to 0.45. You know that I mean negative. It's red. It's here. And yeah, see the Euro's down 0.73 now. So looking interesting. NASDAQ is breaking its support, which I find interesting. And the S&P is probably going to be following the NASDAQ lower. So we've got a really big mixed bag of shite here today, which to be break even during that mixed bag of shite, I'm really happy about that. So now it's kind of, we're heading into 11 o'clock here shortly. I think I'm pretty much done. This is the time where you just got to kind of fold up your tent and say, hey, Did a great job under the circumstances, broke even today. Fantastic. Went in, had our game plan, executed, and it's just come back for tomorrow. Because if you can keep your losses small and manageable and really take advantage and press when you're right and you know you're right, that's how you become a consistently profitable trader over the long run. That's really what it comes down to. So you're not going to be right every single day. It's a game of probabilities, and you just got to let the probabilities work themselves out. I'm going to just stick around for one last higher time period close because you see how this is in congestion. And you have a nice high connector trend line here. So if this sucks up and gives a close, right around 45.56, that would mean that that's another test and failure to sustain momentum below yesterday's low of 45.55, which means we could see a push back to the upside. So I may still get long in that case, even though it is a big mixed bag of shit. And the NASDAQ is breaking support, which is not what you want to see when you're going long the S&P. So got to keep that in there. I feel like this market is just begging traders to make mistakes today. And so far, that's how you want to rate yourself every day, Not did you make money or did you lose money? Obviously, that's important over the long run. But if you've got a system, you want to rate yourself on how did you perform? How did you implement your system? Did you follow your process? And if you did, you get a good score for the day. If you didn't follow your process and you traded like an idiot, which we all do from time to time, then you give yourself a bad score for the day. So the goal is not profits per se. The profit should be just the result of the process that you're following if you're following it well. It's super important. All right. So probably not going to be messing with this because it's just one of these days where I can see that not a good day to bet on support down here. Sure, it might go higher. But see, I love all the hindsight traders. Like, well, I would have bought there and sold there and bought. Yeah, but in real time, you got to put all these pieces together. And if it was that easy, everybody be gazillionaires. Oh, I forgot. Everybody out there on YouTube and Twitter, they are all gazillionaires. So, yeah, we're dumping. But I think we could be, we'll see. I guess today's the last day in November, I think, right? Yeah. So we're going to see how these monthlies close. Be interesting if this is, a temporary top. We'll have to see. I'll have to do my monthly analysis. That'll be fun. All right, so that is going to do it for me, and we will just reconvene tomorrow. I'll put out the daily forecast before the market opens. See, this is a pretty nice little recovery rally here. Tempting one to get long down here, but I just don't even want to mess with this based on what I'm seeing across the board. That NASDAQ is just really throwing you off unless it's going to suck way back up now, which it could. I mean, the Dow the Dow is pushing higher now. It's just, this market won't let me leave. Ooh, treasuries are staging a nice recovery. 10 years down 0.36. This could be setting up a potential to buy here. Dow is pushing higher. Treasuries are staging a recovery. Oh, we're going to have to watch. We're going to have to do it. Look at the Dow on fire. But that dollar just won't relent, The euro just can't stage a recovery. And we did have some news out of the ECB today that that the central bank has been maintaining this very hawkish stance, and they're going to have to get dovish now. So that's probably why the euro is going to stay under pressure for the rest of the day, which is probably going to weigh on stocks like it's doing. Yeah, you see, nice little bounce there, but then we don't hold. We're heading lower. I don't know. Maybe the Dow is going to give all this back and catch down to the S&P and the NASDAQ. That's kind of what it's looking like at this exact moment. Anybody who's long the Dow up here may want to get out of their longs. I think that's what we're seeing. All right, guys, I'm not gonna trade this today. We are having a great day on break even. A couple of trades, followed our plan. It was overall, I rate the process as an A today. We're patient. Took basically just 2 shots, and yeah, the market didn't give us anything, so we didn't take anything, but we also didn't lose anything. All right, take care, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.